Anything electrical power is made of two components, voltage and current. They sound alike, but they are very different. Any form of wiring, power transmission, or solar installation would be a disaster without the proper understanding of these two components. When out of balance, they are also responsible for thousands of fire outbreaks every single week. This video is not just for engineers or installers, but for everyone who wants to protect themselves, as we'll be breaking down everything to the smallest bits possible. Subscribe and let's dive in. So I wanted to begin by explaining how electrical power gets to you from the power station and why it is transmitted to you that way. But before we get there, let's get some basic principles. What we call electricity is an energy. In other words, electrical energy. That energy is a function of two things: power and the duration in which that power is utilized, which is time. So energy is power times time. In other words, the active force of electricity is electrical power, and that is where our focus is. Now, that power is made of two components, and that is voltage and current, which is P equal to I times V. Now, let's get practical. There's a universal law that governs power, and it always involves two forces acting hand in hand. Now, if you've ever experienced a flat tire while driving, and in that situation, you want to change the wheel of your vehicle, you bring out your wheel spanner and then you try to loosen the bolt on that wheel, and it's just so stiff. You notice that sometimes you really can't slack that bolt. But when you add an extra length on the arm of the wheel spanner you're trying to turn loose, something like an extension rod or an extension handle that takes you further from the center point where the turning is happening, it's just so easy to loosen that bolt, even when you put in very minimal effort. It doesn't take as much effort to loosen the bolt than as much as it took you when trying to loosen the bolt with the shorter arm that is closer to the center point of that turning movement. If you've also seen a tap whose handle is broken and you try to turn the knob without the extensions from the handle moving away from the center of that turning, you notice that you need so much effort to turn that tap. The same thing with the door handle when the handle extension is broken. But the longer a handle is for a doorknob or a tap knob, the easier it is to turn, and the less effort you need to put in, the less energy you need to put in to be able to turn that tap or to turn that doorknob. That's because when it comes to mechanical power, there are also two components involved, and that is torque or turning force and speed. And in this case, P is equal to T times S, or force times distance. You can see the same pattern in the electrical power with current and voltage repeating itself here. Do you know that the engine of a vehicle doesn't have enough force, or what we call torque, to move the weight of the vehicle? That's because the engine of a vehicle is designed to rotate at high speed but low torque or low turning force. But you can get the power of that engine to move the weight of the car if some of the speed can be converted to torque, and that is where conversion comes in. That's why you have the gearbox and the gear selector. If you put two gears together, let's say the first gear is 1 meter in diameter and the second gear is like times 5, which is 5 meter in diameter. Call this A and B. A would have to rotate 5 times before B can rotate once. But the amazing thing is that the turning force at B is times 5 that of A. That means if A represents the engine and B represents the tire of the vehicle, the engine can now move the weight of the vehicle by transmitting 5 times its power to the wheels at 1/5 the speed. If you further reduce the speed of the engine to increase the torque by increasing the diameter of gear B, the car will be able to produce more and more force at the wheel to carry more weight. That is why gear 1 is more powerful than gear 5, despite being the slowest gear in the vehicle. And that is also why extending the handle of the wheel spanner or the tap handle produces more force than the shorter handle. The power your hands are producing at the handle Along that turning circular path is the same thing that gear A is doing to gear B. So the farther your hands are from the center point of that turning axis, the more you are increasing the size of your invisible gear B. That means you are increasing torque and reducing the amount of speed needed. This is how power can be manipulated during transmission to suit different kinds of need. A bulldozer that needs more torque at the wheels would be slower but more powerful in pushing down turns. A sport car will be faster at the wheels but won't have enough power to drive on sand or swampy areas. Now, how does this help us understand electrical power and how a wrong cable size can burn down facilities worth thousands of dollars? We said earlier that electrical power, which is P, is equal to current times voltage. Current functions the same way as torque or the turning force because it determines how much load electrical power can carry. Voltage, on the other hand, is like speed. It determines how fast the current is flowing. In relating voltage to current, there is a constant, and that constant is firmly attached to the current, and that is resistance. So here is what Ohm's law is trying to explain with this. The current in any system, which is the electrical power's ability to carry load, is affected by resistance in inverse proportion, and that resistance is R. And here is where cable sizing becomes a big issue. Just like in transmitting mechanical power, the higher you increase the torque from gear A to gear B, the stronger the material the gears should be made of in order to transmit that heavy turning force without damaging the gear teeth. That's why vehicles with high torque would have a titanium gearbox. Titanium is basically one of the hardest materials on earth. But if you're transmitting high speed with low torque, weaker materials can be used for the gears. In the same way, the diameter of a wire being used to transmit electrical power is meant to increase or decrease according to current flowing in the system. Just like mechanical power, electrical power can also be manipulated during transmission according to demand. So that brings us to our very first statement, which explains how electricity gets to you. The electricity that gets to you from the grid, for instance, starts as both high voltage and high current, produced by giant rotating generators driven by a hydraulic dam, steam turbine, gas turbine, or perhaps giant windmills, as the case may be. In order to transmit this electrical power over a long distance, there is a giant step-up transformer to increase the voltage and to drop the current. Why? Because current, just like torque, requires bigger cables to be transmitted successfully. But voltage, on the other hand, just like speed, can be transmitted via thinner cables, provided the current is low. That means if you want to use smaller cables, simply step down the current by trading it for voltage. But if you want to carry load, step up the current and increase the cable size to reduce resistance. This is why we have converters, inverters, controllers, and transformers. They can help you trade between current and voltage, just like the gearbox does with mechanical power. When voltage is high, you get more spark and shock. When current is high, you get silent burning that can make anything turn red hot within seconds, but no shock, except the voltage is also high. When you connect solar panels in series, the voltage increases, and that's where you get the V1 plus V2 plus V3 to infinity. That means the spark and the shock also increases with every panel that is being stacked in series, but current stays the same. That means your main concern should be every joint of cable having a firm grip and, of course, proper insulation. But the moment you start going parallel, it's a different ballgame. The current increases and the voltage stays the same. The wire diameter must increase in the same proportion as the current. And this is where fire outbreaks become a possibility. If a wire is too thin to conduct the amount of current passing through it, the excess current will be converted to heat. That's because energy cannot be destroyed. And as the wire heats up, the resistance further increases. Within minutes, an entire line of wire can become red hot, melt its own coating, and burn anything around it, especially wood. In most cases, even a circuit breaker can't stop this because the amount of current needed to trip it might not be properly conveyed by the same wire. A fuse, on the other hand, can prevent this. Heat from current concentrates more on the thinnest part of the wire because that is where the resistance is more, and that's why a fuse can work, because it's basically a thinner wire that can get red hot and break off or burn off and disconnect the entire circuit. So whenever you hear people talk about cable sizing, they're basically saying increase the wire diameter according to the number of current, or better still, stay with series connection and do proper insulation, avoid partial contacts in terminals that could create sparks, because those are the major challenges that comes with high voltage. But you would have the luxury of using thinner wires without any risk of heating or fire outbreaks. This is why you should get an engineering design for any project you want to do, provided power is concerned. Do not go direct to electricians, because in as much as they are very good with practical implementation of work, they do need a design that has already been done by an engineer or by a professional to be able to know what and what to use for a particular project. So as you can see, this is the design. This is a sample of the design sheet. This is for a simple system solar panels. You can see the cable sizing is stated here, including the amperage that each cable is conveying. This is for a very simple system. You can see the battery information is laid out here, every single detail. And this is for a bigger size installation for a standard home. You can see the solar panel array, the connection. It's very easy to interpret, and you can also see the cable sizing stated here. Everything is clear for easy maintenance, easy installation. You can also get a custom design tailored to your needs, calculated to the very precision. So everything is predictable. There is no damage on that system that would not be predictable, because the design captures everything for your own safety and for the value of the amount of money you're throwing into a project. Design calculations help you determine the kind of wires to use in a particular project, if to go more of series or to go more of parallel, and how to keep these two components of power in perfect harmony to ensure that a particular project moves smoothly. Electricity is a good servant but needs to be treated with precision. This is why you have Hardware House. We don't do copy and paste projects. We do proper design and perfect execution for any size of solar installation project. You can chat us up on WhatsApp by clicking on the link in the description of the video or the pinned comment, and you can have your setup in less than 24 hours. I'm Justin. Bye bye.